Hello students and a very warm welcome to class 6. So in today's class we are going to start the very first chapter of mathematics, and that is patterns in mathematics. Let's start with the chapter then. So it says that mathematics is in large part the search for patterns and for the explanations as to why those patterns exist. As we all know that mathematics, it deal with numbers, figures, and so many things. There are angles, lines, many things are there. So along with that, there are also patterns in mathematics. So as a part of this chapter, we are going to understand few of the patterns, and then also we will get to know that why those patterns exist and how they can be used to used in calculations and to find out more numbers. Okay. Now, such patterns indeed exist all around us in nature, in our homes and schools, and in the motion of the sun, moons, and stars. They occur in everything that we do and see, from shopping and cooking to throwing a ball and playing games to understanding weather patterns and using technologies. So, what is explained here is that all around us in nature, in home, school, markets, or wherever we go, even the motion of sun, moon, stars, planets, everything, everywhere patterns exist. We can take example like this. We know that Earth take 365 days to revolve around the sun. So this is one of the pattern. The another pattern is in a week there is 7 days. So this is again the repetition of certain patterns. Likewise, in cooking, in shopping, throwing a ball, playing games, everywhere these patterns exist. Okay. And also, in order to understand the weather patterns, these mathematical patterns are used. What scientists do is, or what you can say, the meteorologist, these are the scientists who deals with in the study of the weather patterns. What they do is they take certain parameters like pressure, wind, rainfall of the certain regions, and then they analyze the data, the patterns, and using those patterns they forecast the weather of next few days. So in that area also these mathematical patterns they are used. Now the next is the search for patterns and their explanations can be fun and creative endeavor. It is for this reason that mathematicians think of mathematics both as an art and as in science. So as far as the scientists they are concerned, since they get to know many new things as a part of their analysis from using these patterns. So for them, it is both a piece of art and science. This year, we hope that you will get a chance to see the creativity and artistry involved in discovering and understanding mathematical patterns. So again, what is explained is that as a part of this chapter, we are going to understand new patterns. Okay. Next is, it is important to keep in mind that mathematics aims not just find out what pattern exists, but also the explanation for why they exist. Such explanation can be used in applications well beyond the context in which they were discovered, which can then help to propel humanity forward. So not only we will get to know about the patterns, we will also come to know that why those patterns exist, how they are derived. So similarly, using these patterns and the understanding of the reason that why these patterns exist, scientists are able to make new innovations, new discoveries. Next is example, the understanding of patterns in the motion of stars, planets, and their satellites led humankind to develop the theory of gravitation, allowing us to launch our own satellites and send rockets to the moon and to the Mars. So, when scientists they came to know the different patterns which were involved in the motion of star planets, they were then able to create the satellites, and by analyzing the data they can launch their own satellites and send rocket to moon and to Mars also, right? Similarly, understanding the patterns in genomes has helped in diagnosing and curing diseases, among thousands of other such examples. So what is explained here is that in the field of the medical science also, this study has been used. Like in the case of any disease, there are certain patterns of genomes which we also call as genes. They exist in our body. So looking into those patterns, these scientists, they could diagnose the disease and they could develop the cure of those diseases, which we called as medicines, right? Okay, so the next is the first exercise of this chapter. Exercise 1.1, figure it out. So the first question here is, can you think of other examples where mathematics help us in our everyday lives? So what we have to do here is that from our daily life, we have to cite some examples where we use the mathematics. So here I have listed down few of the points, the areas where we are using mathematics in our daily life. Let's go through them one by one. The first one is cooking and baking. So in cooking and baking, we always use some measurements that, okay, how much, in what quantity we have to add which ingredient. So there we are using the mathematics. So if a recipe says that you need 2 cups of flour, you are using math to measure the exact amount. And baking a cake becomes a delicious math experiment because there we have to use many ingredients in appropriate quantities. So maths is involved in cooking and baking. The next one is budgeting and finances. So at our home, our parents, they do monthly and annually budgeting. Okay, so they do the calculation of the monthly expenses. So for all those calculations, mathematics is used. In fact, the pocket money which we get from our parents, that is also a part of budgeting and financing, and that also covers mathematics. Next one is shopping. So shopping is also like a math adventure. It also involves lot of mathematics. As we have already studied the selling price, cost price, profit, loss, everything in the grade 5. Every that is also included in mathematics, and a part of it is also there in shopping. Okay. So let's say that there is a toy that costs rupees 10 and it is available on sale for 20 rupees, 20% off. So when we'll do the maths calculation, the after discount, the discounted price will be 2 rupees. So here in the calculation also maths is involved. Next is time management. When we wake up, we put an alarm, and also we have dedicated time to sleep in the night. So there time is involved, which means the mathematics is involved because time is all about maths. Next is planning your day. This is also one of the major points because this is something which we do daily. So whenever we have a task to complete, the time is always set. Okay, example, you do an estimation that I take 10 minutes to take shower, then I'll take another 20 minutes to complete my breakfast, and after 30 minutes, I will be ready to do the next set of work. So all this thing planning which we have done just now, there also mathematics is done for the calculation. And the last part is sports and games. Sports and game is also one of the area where we use math. We maintain the scoreboard, that okay, which team is winning, which is losing, how many scores are there, how who is going ahead. So that all calculation involves mathematics. So these are the examples where we are using mathematics in our everyday lives. Next is second question. How has mathematics helped propel humanity forward? And you may think of the examples involving carrying out scientific experiments, running out our economy and democracy, building bridges, houses, or other complex structures, making TVs, mobile phone, computer, bicycles, train, cars, planes, calendar, clocks, etc. Okay, so now we have to cite the examples where we think the mathematics has been used to propel the humanity forward, has made new inventions, has bring the modernization, helped people, helped in analysis, which helped to the growth of our economy and the country. So here I have cited few examples and the areas which are where the mathematics has been used to propel the humanity. Okay, so the first one is here the scientific experiments. So with the help of the mathematics, we can analyze the data and we can create new models with the mathematical measures. So, which bring us to create the new inventions. All this is done using the mathematical calculations. Next one is economy and democracy. So, here mathematics is using the periodic budgeting. So, annually budgeting is done by the minister. Okay, so that is also involved that also involved the mathematics, the counting of the population and the economic planning done by the government, everything involved mathematical calculations. Next one is construction and engineering. So here, whenever anything, any building, any bridge, dam, anything is designed and constructed, first of all, the measurements are done, the analysis is done, the approximation is done, and all that is done involves mathematical calculations. Next is the technology. So, in technology, we all know that we use computers, smartphones, and so many devices are there. Okay, so in designing and developing those digital devices, that technology that involves the mathematics. So, there also we are using the mathematics in technology. Next is the transportation. Even in case of the transportation, the designing and development of the vehicles, their approximations, everything involves the mathematical calculations. And next one, the last one is the weather predictions. So how the weather is currently going on, analyzing those weather conditions and doing certain mathematical calculations which are understood by the meteorologist, they can easily forecast the weather of coming days. So all that is done is using the mathematical calculations only. So students, today we have covered that how mathematics is being used in our day-to-day life and in helping, and it is helping in propelling the humanity forward. The all these things we have read. Now in So kids, let's start with the patterns in numbers. So as a part of this chapter, we are going to study the different number patterns and particularly the one which deal with the whole numbers. Okay. So what are whole numbers? We know that whole numbers are the numbers which starts from 0 and it goes till infinity. It is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. Right? So the branch of maths which study these number patterns with whole numbers, they are called as number theory. That branch is called as the number theory. Next, we have the number sequences, and they are the most basic and among the most fascinating type of patterns that mathematicians study. Okay, but what are sequences? What are the number sequences? Let us see. So a sequence is nothing but it is the list of numbers in a specific order. So here I have taken example of a sequence which contain all ones. Okay. So the different numbers, that is 111, they all are called the terms of the sequence. Okay. These are the terms of the sequence. This complete is a sequence and these are the terms of the sequence. And here, if you can see here, this is the first number. This is the first position. So this is the first position. This is the second position. This is the third position and it goes on. So these all are the positions on which these terms are present. At first position, the term is 1. At second position also, we have the term 1 in this particular sequence only. Okay. And in the third position also, we have the term 1. So what we can do is, we can denote a sequence something like this. Okay. A1, A2, A3 and so on, where A are the terms like this 111. It can be anything. We will study all these sequences. Then we will learn better about them. So currently we are going through this sequence of all ones. So here A1 A1 is what? The term A is present at the position 1. Then A2, this is the next term which is present at the position 2. Then the third, at third position, this term is present. So similarly, it goes on. Okay, so I can say I can take any random number. I have taken n here, and what I am saying is that at this nth position, this particular term exists. All right. So let me take another example here. Let me take another example here. Okay. So I have a sequence. I'm taking the sequence 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So here the term which is present at the first position is 1. Okay. So at first position we have 1 term. At second position we have term 3. At third position we have term 5. At fourth position we have term 7. At fifth position we have term 9, and so on. So this is how we describe a sequence. A sequence has terms and it has positions. So on those positions, these terms are present. And also a sequence follow a particular pattern. And these are the number sequences. So they are going to follow a number pattern. So we have all these examples of the number sequences which we are going to take now. Now in the next class, we will start with the pattern in numbers and we will learn about the sequences. Okay, so I'll see you all in the next class. If you have any queries regarding this, you can always email me. Thanks kids for joining the class, and I will see you in the next class.